Welcome back.
It's good to see you again.
I'm Marsha, also known as Very Little.
I'm Priscilla, also known as Scilla_P.
And thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
And if you're new, welcome. And if you're not new, welcome.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, grab your coffee and your knitting and or tea or water or
make yourself comfortable.
Shake or whatever your beverage of choice is and take a seat.
My beverage today is water. It was chocolate milk, but I drank it while we were preparing.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was delicious.
Drank it so fast. So our last episode, okay, I'm Very Little on all of the things. Ravelry and Instagram, and I have a Facebook page as well that's Very Little. And it's in the middle of transitioning over to be support for the podcast, but it's still sliding over from what it used to be for me. And Scilla is known as Scilla__P.
P on Instagram, and Pudscilla, Pudscilla.
I thought it was Zilla.
No, it's SC.
No, that's how you spell your name, is
Yeah.
SC. Is it Pudscilla? I thought it was Pudzilla.
No, it's Pudscilla.
No wonder.
Pudscilla.
We're not even friends on Ravelry. Did you know that?
We're not.
No. We're not.
You know what? It's probably good. We probably should have a little bit of separation.
You know,
now that you're starting to volunteer at my work.
Good call.
Yeah. One place where we're not connected.
Exactly. We're just gonna. Yeah. And our last episode was actually our podiversary. We forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
It's been a year, and it's been an amazing journey. Like,
it's been wonderful
from where we began to where we are now. I feel like this podcasting thing is very fluid, and it changes and it ebbs and it flows, and I feel like we've just ebbed and flowed with it, and
I feel like that
we've
too.
grown as people.
We have. I know. When we first started, my commitment was like, yeah, okay, we could do this, and now I'm like, Ravelry, Instagram, like, hi to everyone. I love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
That feeling of community and connection.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. It's really good. I knew you would like it.
I know, and I'm even becoming addicted to other people's podcasts because they're wonderful.
Yes, and you were watching a podcast the other day. What were you watching?
Which one? I was watching like 3
Well, you
the
were
other
watching
day.
like 3. Okay. But one specifically within the first 5 minutes.
Oh, yes, that one. So I was watching the Bakery Bears podcast, and within the first 5 minutes, it was actually funny because I was watching it. And Marsha's like, I'm going to go do something. You can continue watching or turning it off. And I ended up turning it off because I had to go do something else in a different room. We were cleaning that day. Mm-hmm. And Marsha comes, and then I go to work, and Marsha's like, did you watch it? And I was like, no, I turned it off. And she's like, you have to watch it. So the first thing I did as soon as I got home was I had to watch it. And I'm glad I did. So within the first 5 minutes, Dan and Kay decided to do a new thing, which may only be the one time they do it, they said, but they're doing Muppet of the Month. And I got selected as Muppet of the Month. So like across their screen, it'll come across our screen too. Scilla is a Muppet! And my Muppet was the Snoth. So this is my Sockhead Snoth hat.
So she's going to be a Snoth for the entire podcast.
I'm going to be a Snoth because I'm the Muppet of the Month. You have to be your Muppet. I'm going to embrace it. Not everyone gets selected to be a Muppet.
I know. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think Tilly Trout is also a Muppet. Or also the same Muppet.
Yes, she is.
Lots of people are Muppets, but...
Yeah, and actually, was it Bead Room Jewelry?
Yeah, Bead Room Jewelry is our
is the
Manana guy.
So cute.
Yeah.
It's like, hey guys.
Yeah, so it's 2 Snows, then a Manamana.
Sorry, I keep looking down, and it's not necessarily my knitting. Scilla is sitting here with one of her legs, like, right here, and she's, like, rubbing her own foot right beside me.
It's because...
a little distracting.
It's because I'm wearing socks that Marsha knit me, and I just
You look like a Muppet, you know? When the Muppets are like, they lift their leg.
I know. When I close my mouth, too, I do the Muppet mouth. It's totally straight. It's like a straight line.
That's so funny. Yeah, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, getting caught up in the last week.
I'm knitting in my hand.
I actually am looking into different things I can do. I am no longer a part of the corporate world, so that feels really good. And I'm looking into teaching classes in town for teaching knitting, and and I'm volunteering with Priscilla's agency to teach knitting as well as one of their and crocheting as one of their courses. And also I've been last couple days I've been catching up on all my podcasts, and I just want to say thank you to all the podcasters who have mentioned us, because there have been
so
quite
much.
a few, and we just really appreciate that. That's this community. It just keeps. I don't know why.
Warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm always surprised. I just love it, and I really want change the subject now because I don't want to cry. Aww. And but I was listening to Paula of the Knitting Pipeline, and she actually has a retreat as well, as an audio podcast on iTunes. And I've been doing audio podcasts through iTunes, because I can download them and take them with me and listen to them while I'm driving and stuff, because then I don't need to be looking. But she talked about the massive sockathon, and which was really nice. And also she was mentioning that just reminded me, because I used the Fish Lips Kiss heel on every single one of my socks during the sockathon.
She learned it on her first pair of socks on the sockathon. She's like, okay,
I need a fast heel.
Let's learn a new heel on day one.
So I learned a new heel on the first day, and it was the Fish Lips Kiss heel. Paula mentioned on her episode that the sock therapist, the lady who designed the Fish Lips Kiss heel, is not doing well right now, and she is asking that people purchase the pattern and purchase it and gift it to people just to help her out right now. The pattern is only $1, and Paula has also said that even if you can't afford the $1 to gift the pattern to somebody, if you want somebody to have the pattern, get a hold of her and she'll pay for it and gift it to that person for you. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And I know that our knitting community is amazing. The Fish Lips Kiss heel is an awesome heel. So if ever you were going to give it a try, I think now's the time. I think it's pretty suitable time to purchase the pattern and give it a go. It's only $1. It looks a little daunting because the platform is it's a booklet, but you don't need the booklet. I just used one page and I had it memorized. By the second sock, I had it memorized. So it's not. I didn't find it difficult. I know there are some people who I feel like probably get overwhelmed by it. There's a lot of information. I feel like that could probably be overwhelming. And there's a couple, just a couple spots where there's a tutorial video that you can look up to watch. And a couple people have asked me if I would do a tutorial as well for it. I cannot. There's a copyright, and so if anybody does a tutorial, it would need to be the designer, because then it goes with the pattern, and to just do it on my own would I don't know how how it would infringe, but I just don't want any messiness. So, and it's definitely worthwhile to
purchase that heel.
It's only $1. It's
I love how it's $1 to improve your
knitting. So that's a big long tangent, but
is it a Canadian dollar? Is it an American dollar? Do we know?
I don't know.
Okay, so it's somewhere between 25 cents and $2, depending on the country you're in.
No, I think it's American. I think it's $1 American, which is $1.75 Canadian or something.
Yeah, right now.
So our dollar's in the toilet right now.
It's $1.40.
It's like $10.
$10 Canadian for $1 American. Yeah, actually, yeah.
More right? Oh my goodness. So what are you working on, Scilla?
So I am actually working on this is the back side, but it is beautiful as you can see it. It's a scarf. It's a cable scarf. It's called the Basic Cable Scarf by the pattern designer is Knit-O-Matic. It was a free pattern. Her name is, I wrote it down because
Haley.
It's Haley Waxberg is the designer, and it's a super easy pattern, super intuitive, and I only used the pattern for the first round, and then after that I had it. It's that intuitive.
And by round you
easy.
mean row. We were knitting it flat.
Yes, I mean row, but I mean section. The first repeat.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, repeat. That's the right word.
That's the right word.
Yeah. So for the first repeat, but it's super pretty. I'm knitting it on Madeline Tosh.
Yep.
It's a silk merino blend, 50% silk, 50% superwash merino. DK weight, 205 yards or 187 meters.
In the.
I know I'm looking for the colorway. In the
Logwood
colorway. Thank you, Marsha. In the logwood colorway. It takes two to read a skein if one of them is Priscilla. Yeah, and so I absolutely love it. I think when I block it, I'm going to block it wide like that. So it'll be more pop. But yeah, so it's working out wonderfully. Marsha, what are you working on?
Well, at this exact second, I'm actually working on the sock head hat. And it's by Kelly McClure, and it's free pattern, right? Yes.
Yeah, it was a free pattern.
I had it in my Ravelry thing because I've already knit it once. So, yes, so it's a free pattern, and I'm knitting it on Nicole C. Mendez yarn in her rainbow. And when I ordered it, I thought it was going to be brighter. The picture looked a lot brighter. This is actually coming up on the screen a lot brighter than it is. It's very pastel-y. And when I caked it up, because I was going to knit it up right away, it was a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be. What are you doing?
You're knitting needle lined right up with my nose.
Okay. And such a weirdo. So, but I cast it on into a hat, and I am really loving it. I am really loving the transitions. I am really actually enjoying that it isn't as vibrant. There's lots of vibrant rainbow yarn out there, so I know I can get a hold of more vibrant. But I'm really liking this, and I think in a hat, like, the transitions are going nice, and it looks like a rainbow. So I'm really happy with it. So in the sock head hat, it's about 2 rows of each color is what I'm getting. It looks like, yeah, about 2 rows of each color. So that's turning out really nicely, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice knit that I don't really have to think about. Going from this to other projects, though, I start doing a knit 2 purl 2 on other things. I'm like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
It's not a ribbing.
So that I'm working on. It's been 2 weeks, so I don't know how much love this has gotten. I think I've added.
You've added.
I think I've added a couple onto here. So I'm still using the colors that. Yeah, I think that's how it goes.
I like the way the colors are turning out, and the way they're coming up there.
Yeah, I feel like this is backwards and upside down. So this is where I started, and this is where I am right now. So far, I'm still just using sock yarn that, except for this one, I think all of these were in the Sockathon. Yeah, I think that's the only one that wasn't, and it might have been because it was handy, so I just grabbed it and put it in there. And last time I said I'm going to try to do 1 a day, and that's just totally gone by the wayside. So I'm not going to say things like that anymore. I'm just
not going to make commitments like that.
No, it's too much commitment. I can't do that to myself.
Oh.
So that one has gotten a few squares on it, not a lot. I am also working on a Narita Express, and this is by me.
Designer
and Designer me. And it is on 6mm, and I do believe they are, I want to say they're Knit Pros in their wood ones. And I took these needles with me to Japan because I take wooden or bamboo on the airplane, because then I know it's not going to be an issue ever traveling, because I have had needles confiscated before. So, and I just, it's a sad feeling.
Yeah.
I was knitting a sock and they took them out of my sock.
Just out of your sock?
Yeah, so all my stitches were loose, hanging out, and I had nothing to put them on. So.
Did you continue your sock, or did you rip it?
No, when I got home, I picked up all the stitches and continued on.
Wow.
So this is just the beginning part. And it hasn't even gotten to where it starts into the patterning. And the yarn is a Knit Picks alpaca yarn that has been discontinued. It's fingering weight yarn. It's knit at quite a loose gauge because it gives it a really nice squish. Like, it's very, very squishy, and it's a quick knit. That's like all of the reasons I knit it the way I designed it the way I did, because I wanted it to be quick. I wanted it to be fairly simple, and I wanted it to have a small bit of challenge in it at some point, because it can be boring if there's nothing to like move you forward, I suppose. So
I love the simple repeats.
That's what I've been working on. So
wonderful.
yes. And that's going to be a free pattern. So it's coming up. And we are planning next month, sign-ups open for a knitting retreat that Scilla and I are planning on going to.
Oh, yes.
I've been to it previously, and it is, it's in BC, British Columbia, and its sign-ups are opening up in March. So
yeah, March 11th, I believe, is the date.
Yeah, so we're going to be signing up right away, and
watch, because we haven't said everyone signs up and we don't get to go.
Right? Please let us go. Well, I've already had a couple of viewers contact me and say, "Hey, are you going to this?" And yes, we are planning to.
We're going to sign up on sign-up day.
I cannot remember the name of the retreat, like the actual name, because it's in Sorrento.
So we just call it Sorrento.
So I just call it the Sorrento retreat, but I'm not sure. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. So I'll probably, our next podcast is in 2 weeks, so I'll probably have the information.
Yeah.
Then, because she sends out the information to people who are signing up and the sign up forms and everything. So I should have it by then. It's so hard to look forward 2 weeks, isn't it?
It is. And then looking back 2 weeks, it's like, what did we talk about that? Where were we on that?
Yeah. What happened there? And we're also planning on going to Knit City in the fall.
Yes.
And
in October.
It's in Vancouver, and it is, there are classes, and there's a really big yarn market, and it is a lot of Canadian dyers. A lot of Canadian dyers, because there is, I was talking to with a couple people, and one of the reasons it's mostly Canadians is because it's hard to import stuff for just like for a short event or something. So I think that they ran into problems with that.
Yeah.
But
I've already been looking at hotels.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's awesome. We'll probably just stay at the one that's right there.
Yeah, I was looking at that one too. I was going to ask you about it.
Yeah, because they do deals.
Oh, wonderful.
They do a deal for people who are going to the event. And also, when we talked on our last podcast, I talked about meeting Emily and Alexa.
Oh, yes!
The Emily I met is not the right Emily.
Well, she's the right Emily for her as Emily.
Yeah, she's wonderful. I had a great time with her.
But not the Emily who wrote the book.
Yeah. So there's this podcast that I listen to, and it's a couple of girls, and they're based out of Kelowna. It's called the Relentless Knitting Podcast, and they are hilarious.
They're audio, aren't they?
They're an audio podcast, and they're on iTunes. And we went down to Knit City together. We carpooled because I was planning on going, and I had a couple friends who were going to come, and they all canceled last minute, and then my car had to go in the shop. Like, it was like, boom, boom, boom. I'm like,
I still want to go.
Everything's signed up for, everything's paid for, and so I knew that I had heard about Knit City from their podcast, so I contacted them and said, hey, do you know any extra room in your car? And they said yes. So after last week's, or our last podcast, Carla got a hold of me and she said, by the way, that's not the right Emily. Like, oh shoot. But yeah, Her name is Emily, though, and she's super nice. Yeah. So I just wanted to straighten that out, own my mistakes. Because that happens.
But for the record, we think all Emilys are wonderful.
All of you. All
the Emilys.
And Scilla mentioned when she so Scilla introduced herself on the Bakery Bears thread, and that's part of the reason she became the Muppet of the month.
So my introduction had like a 10-point list of things I thought it was important for them to know about me. And at the bottom, one of them was what my Muppet was, and the other one was that the Muppet along was so enthralling that I had to cast on even though I wasn't done my thesis, so my goal was to not cast on until I'm done my thesis. If you're looking at this, I'm still not done my thesis.
If you're looking at this.
The yarn was just so pretty and soft.
Uh-huh.
And so on there I also wrote that I used to work in Disney World as a Canadian. And
so in Florida. So Disneyland is in California. Disney World is in Florida.
And so Dan, he's like, what is that? How do you work as a Canadian? How do you be a Canadian? Well, to be a Canadian, I was born in Canada.
Of course.
But for those
makes the most sense,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you who've been to Disney World, they have a world. Those of you who have will probably remember Epcot Center and the World Showcase. Those of you who haven't, Disney World has Epcot Center and the World Showcase. And what an Epcot Center is they actually have pavilions for 12 different countries. They might have 13 now. I know they've done some changes since I was there back in 2003.
Becoming friends with more countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good relations.
That's
yeah. So when I was there was 12, and what they did is they actually have an international program. So they bring in people from Canada, Norway, the UK, Germany, Japan, China, Mexico, South Africa. Ooh, I'm missing some, and I'm gonna be offensive if I don't hit them all.
Yeah. You worked there. Come on.
I know.
Denmark?
Nope.
England?
Yes, that was UK.
Oh yeah, you said UK.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who my see. It was the ones that were easy for me to name were because I had Morocco. Because I lived in, like, they have an international
You're just
complex.
going to be, like, randomly saying a country.
Yeah, I'll just remember a new country. I'm like, oh, yeah. And so what they did was they set up an international complex. They brought 18 to 30-year-olds from those countries to come and work in the pavilions. So each pavilion would have authentic staff from that country who spoke the native language but also spoke English. So they could let people know about their own country and what it was like to be there. And so my official title was a cultural representative in the Canadian Pavilion. But I told people about Canada. I worked in the outdoor carts. I sold beer and popcorn. That's what Canadians do.
So one of the things with being a Canadian is we are, generally speaking, not all Canadians are, but generally speaking, we're fairly sarcastic. Like, most Canadians have a really good sense of humor, but also, like, silly sarcastic. Not mean sarcastic.
But silly sarcastic. Yeah.
And that was one of the things that they weren't allowed to be sarcastic at all.
No. Yeah, being sarcastic was actually grounds for termination because being sarcastic can lead somebody to feel stupid or to feel smaller, and it was never our intent in Disney World to make anyone have anything but a magical experience. So
Scilla couldn't talk. And I'm just being sarcastic. See, like right? How hard is that? I would be fired. I just walk in the door. They'd be like.
And so I actually had an experience where a guy comes up to my cart when I was working on outdoor foods. I also worked in their steakhouse there, which is a wonderful, wonderful steakhouse. If you ever get a chance to go to Disney World, go to Le Cellier, the Canadian steakhouse. So the countries I remember, the reason I remember those countries is because we lived in an international complex. And I was lucky enough to room with, I was in a big apartment, so there was 8 people in my apartment, and all of us were from different countries. And that's why those 8 were the easiest ones for me to name, because my roommates were from those countries. But yeah, Disney World, it was a wonderful time. It was a wonderful experience. It was a year. And yeah, that was
what was your uniform
like being a Canadian. So, right. So we were all dressed in authentic national attire. So we were the only country that the women didn't have to wear dresses or skirts, so that was nice. Mm-hmm. However, we were all lumberjacks. Men, women, everyone. Lumberjacks.
Plaid shirts, khaki pants, and
red,
work boots.
red plaid shirts. Don't forget the hat. We had like Tilly hats, red plaid shirts, Roots hiking boots, black socks, and khaki shorts, and black belts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it takes to be Canadian.
That's so funny.
Oh. Yeah, so that's what it is to be a Canadian in Disney World.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good times.
So, do you have any finished objects, Scilla?
I do have a finished object. I finished my sockhead hat by Kelly McClure. So by Kelly McClure, it's my sockhead hat. It's beautiful. It is done on this yarn here, would be Marsha.
That is Drops Fable.
Drops Fable. And this part here, the beautiful pink top, is made by Uhu Knits. And it is a deliciously pink colorway.
It's in the watermelon color.
Watermelon, thank you. Watermelon. And we just rewatched our podcast too, so I would know the name of the colorway. I'm terrible with names of
awesome.
things.
You're like, I have no idea. No.
Aw.
And that just to me, that warms my heart that you're going to be a doctor.
Right? See, I couldn't podcast on my own because I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, it's soft. That's how I pick my yarn. I touch it and I'm like, ooh, this is really soft. I want this. And then I look at the weight, and if it's lower than a fingering weight, I put it back and I find something else that's soft.
If it's lower than a fingering weight, I don't think you have ever purchased a fingering weight.
Sorry, a fingering weight or lower.
You're like worsted weight.
Like worsted weight. This is DK.
Okay, DK.
Right?
Well, that's a step in the right direction.
I know, that's the smallest I've got is DK.
Yep, it's good.
Yeah. So Marsha, do you have any finished objects?
Yes, I do. I have a few.
Does.
So I was test knitting along with my test knitters my Narita Express. So I have, this is a finished one. This was my first one that I knit in Japan while I was there. And it's very pretty.
So pretty.
And it has a really simple applied edging. And this is what it looks like on, and it's super squishy. This is not the one that I completed. So this is the one that I finished with knitting with my test knitters. And this one is in Yarn Ink in the Calypso colorway. And it is bigger because I blocked it more aggressively. Now this is the difference between blocking it where you just like set it out straight and let it dry and it's nice and it's just like.
See, I really like the way you blocked that one. That was my favorite.
Scilla prefers this. It's a lot squishier than this. This is actually getting squishier from when I first
It is
blocked
getting squishier.
because it's relaxing now. But I like it
hard blocked.
Yeah, I like to block like I mean it. So, but I use blocking wires so it was easy to get like the edge pieces to kind of pop more, so it kind of gives it a little more of a, I don't know, a loopy kind of detail. That's just how the stitches are. That's not an extra detail. That's just the edge of the stitches being pulled. And it turned out really nice, and my test knitters are busily test knitting away. I think I have 6 or 7 test knitters.
Yeah.
We have one person's already completed it, and there's 5 others that are still working on it. I think most of the bugs have been worked out at this point. I think all of them have. I just need the test knitters to
give the go ahead
to knit it and give it the go ahead. It will be for sale on March 1st. I'm going to have it up for March 1st. It will be free for 6 months, and it'll be free until September. And we are going to do Narita Express knit along for March. So
exciting.
just to bring it out and everyone can knit it with me. It's a really quick knit because it's on such a large gauge. I think this took me 3 days.
It's like when you love something, you're like, here, everybody, come play with me.
Come play with me. Come knit it with me. It's so pretty. And of course, it is a thank you for everybody who has sponsored us. And
I love this. This really does it. That really makes the outfit.
Right? Like, it's so pretty. I like it.
You actually look like 1940s.
Yeah, well,
1950s.
I feel like it's good. There's so many ways to wear it, like, and I feel like this one could be one of the ways.
It could be, but I think with this, you just need to.
Or
there you go. Ooh,
like that looks nice. Sassy.
That does.
So
or
sassy.
do the whole.
Or that.
That right.
Or this.
Also a good one.
Also, that's very pretty.
Right, and I like the little tail.
Yeah. There's so many things.
The
you can
options are endless.
They're endless. They really are.
Have you seen that video where she takes like a plain, almost like blanket shawl and makes it into a dress and makes it into a hat? You could do that with that.
Exactly. So, yeah, so we're going to do a knit along with this. I know I said no knit alongs, but you can do a knit along with this. And also, Zena of the Little Yellow Uke podcast is doing a little along with Little Bobbins. And I feel like Fairy Little might
want to connect.
Maybe
connected.
I would like to take part in that next year and we could do something together.
That'd be wonderful.
Just invite myself. Hey, ladies!
I want to play in your sandbox. Can I play in your sandbox?
Can we do all the littles? Yeah, and she said that that people who are doing their little along, because they're making like little toys and little things,
can enter in the double dip.
They can enter in the double dip.
Yeah.
So
she was very positive about the double dip.
Double dip zone free. Double dip. And my next finished object, I started 2 weeks ago. And it is done. It's my antler cardigan by Tin Can Knits. And I just finished it this morning. So we're actually podcasting late because I wanted to have it done. So I finished the button band and wove in all the ends and then added all of the buttons and I already wore this down like out of the house, and I told Scilla, I said,
maybe laugh, so I'm still laughing. Go ahead and tell them.
I'm like, go ahead. I told Scilla I feel like I'm wearing it with its pants down because it hasn't been blocked, so its stitches are loose. It's got hand sweat on it. It's like not.
It's like raw and exposed.
It's so like sweater. Yeah. I feel like it's not ready for the world yet. I'm gonna show it to you, but it's gonna make me blush.
Right? Because look how exposed it is.
Yeah, and it turned out lovely. I'm
wonderful.
So happy with it. It's, like I said, it needs to be blocked still. I'll put in a picture too. The cables are really nice.
I love the cables. They turned out beautifully.
Yeah, they turned out beautifully. I did the small size, not the extra small, but the small size. This pattern comes in from 0, or as the English say, not to, I think it's 4X.
Like, not a size not?
Yeah, like 0 is not.
Oh, because it's a not.
Yeah.
Ah.
So it's because it's a 0, so it's not a number.
It's just not.
Right.
So NOT, not KNOT?
Right.
If we're wrong, please.
Please let us know. Let us know. This cardigan, I have, the buttons on it are actually pieces of antler. And I can't tell you the company they're from because there's no name on the button thing, but I just got them at the local store. They are collected, what's the word?
Antlers?
Yeah, but they're collected, so deer shed their antlers. They shed their antlers every year after mating season. So there's like... Sorry,
I was just thinking those are post-mating.
Sustainably.
Oh, yeah.
The deer aren't killed for their antlers, is what I'm saying. They collect them because deer shed them, but they usually shed them in a line in the same kind of area every year. So they just go and collect them and they cut them down and shine them up and then they become buttons. So these ones are sustainably I don't know about all of them, but these ones, that's something that's important to me. So it's McCausland's Woolen Mill yarn. It's very sheepy. It does have an itch factor. It's 100% wool, so it cannot go in the washing machine or the dryer. It will felt, it will shrink, it will do all the things that wool does when you aren't nice to it.
But when you wash it gently, it will bloom.
It will bloom. Scylla's like, so is it going to bloom when you throw it in the washer?
Marsha's like, you don't. And she's like, no.
No.
First it said the dryer.
Oh,
like, does it bloom when you throw it in the dryer? And she's like, looks at me. She's like, can't throw it in the dryer. It's wool. And then, right? And then I was like, oh, so when you throw it in the washing machine, she's like, you don't throw it in the washing machine either.
I'm not even going to talk to you. So for the collar, in the photos, it looked like the collar was going to be too low. I feel like for the kind of cardigan it is, I'm going to be wearing it as a layering piece, so it's going to be going over top of things, so I don't need it. I don't need it like up around my neck, and it's an itchy yarn that I use, so I do want something that rides lower so that it isn't bothering my neck. It's not bothering me right now. Like, it's a little bit itchy right there. It's a little bit itchy here and right there.
But just those 3 spots.
But just those spots right now. And so I did add an extra 2 rows in the length here, but that's it. Like, I just added the 2 extra rows and then I cast it off. And when I did my buttons, it calls for a certain amount of stitches to do the buttons, and it was big, but I tested that right away, so I didn't have to do it and then rip it apart. And so I did that, and I did the button, and then I put it through, made sure that it was going to fit and not pull apart. And when I did the placement of the buttons, what I did is I put I laid the sweater flat. The cardigan, this is the cardigan. In Canada, we do call them cardigans.
Do other countries not call them cardigans?
Well, some places interchangeably call it sweater, cardigan, top.
Ah, okay. Yeah, for us, a cardigan has buttons and goes up the front.
Yeah,
but it's
or zipper.
Or zipper.
Or zipper, yeah.
Yeah.
But if it has a zipper, we would more likely call it a jacket. So it would be like a knitted jacket if it has a zipper. That's not the same across Canada. It's a massive country. Everyone has their own nuances, but that's just us.
Yeah, like we call a hoodie, and in Saskatchewan they call it a bunny hug.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I did the buttonholes, I laid this flat and I decided where on this side I wanted it. There's a row of stitches right there, so I wanted this to line up with that. So I just did that, and then I took a safety pin and I actually put the safety pin through the hole and just grabbed a piece of yarn, and I clipped safety pins through the holes the whole way down, so they were exactly where I needed them. Opened it up, found out that where I did it was too close to the edge, so then I just moved it over a stitch, and I'm completely happy with how that turned out, and they're even all the way across. And this is the back. I still feel like it's got its pants down. Like, it's just I feel like it needs a bath. Pose.
Oh, a bath.
Cardigan. I know it needs a bath. It needs some special love and attention. Some wool wash, I think, will go a long way.
Oh, so a bubble bath.
It needs a bubble bath. A good soak in a bubble bath. Yeah,
nice
I'm really happy with it, and I can't believe 2 weeks.
Do you give it a warm bubble bath or a cold bubble bath?
No, warm.
Warm.
Because
you want it to bloom?
It helps get rid of the extra lanolin that's in it. That's what makes it sticky.
Yeah.
And it makes your hands super soft, but it does make it sticky, and so that will come out. And actually, the last time I washed this kind of yarn, like when I soaked it in the sink, and when I drained the sink, because I soak it, then I drain the sink or drain the bowl, but when it's a sweater, I just use the sink and then I drain the sink.
Did the sink have resin?
It had a ring of lanolin around it.
Wow.
So I was like, should I rinse it again? I don't know. But
I don't know.
It was a lot of
What do you think?
What do you think? Should it get rinsed again? But it was good, and I love it. It turned out great. I want to knit it again. I don't see myself knitting it again right away because there's so many other things I want to knit. So.
And you have 3 things on your needles.
Well, I have like 8 things on my needles. So
I know, and that causes me anxiety.
I know. I have another sweater that I started last year, and it's actually the anniversary month of when I cast it on. It's the one It's the green one out of the cotton blend that I started for Nick. And it's so funny because I get to the do this and when I hit that section, I'm like, and off you go. Like, do this and what? See you later. Like,
hilarious.
I'm not gonna knit you. Knit this and.
Like, you got so many just about done projects.
I know, because then it gets to that do this and I'm like, and bye-bye.
You should take a month and just do that do this ands and like, look at all the 16 things I have.
I know.
I did them all. It's like, look, I did 16 sweaters.
It was so funny because when I was doing this, I hit the
cables,
and I was like, I kind of want to put it down. I was like, no, I need to finish it. And then
I felt that energy. You're like, oh, maybe I'll put it down. I don't have a cable needle around here. And I'm like I have one you can use. And
yeah,
like,
I don't have a cable needle, which is interesting that
Do you not own one?
I've never used one. I've used like those giant safety pins. I throw them on there and then I bring them back, put them back on.
Oh.
It's a big waste of time. I need some cable needles that are nice and smooth and fast. But yeah, and then I got to after the collar was cast off, it was time to pick up stitches. I was like, well, I could put it down now.
Knitter's Pride has some beautiful cable needles.
Needles? I want a niddle.
Right, needles. They're like, it comes in a set of 2 and they're pink and they're blue.
Yeah.
And I think 4 is they're about 4 millimeter, the pink ones.
Yeah.
And they're amazing because just the way they hold stitches, they're a little bit, I wouldn't say grabby, but there's a texture on them so your stitches don't fall off the end when you're holding them.
Look at her sounding like she knows what she's talking about.
They're wonderful.
I'm having a super proud moment right now.
You should. You made this.
I made this.
You created this.
I love it. Love it. Okay, so also I refinished the matured sweater that I knit and then ripped the collar out of, and then I re-knit the collar 3 times the length and then folded it in and stitched it down. That took only about 2 hours, I think, when it was all said and done. I was knitting on it on the last time we podcast, so I finished it right after the podcast, and then I stitched it down right away and it was done. And it looks great. It did exactly what I needed it to do. It's structured. It's holding it up. It's not becoming a boat collar, and it was perfect.
Yeah, and we can't show it to you because her husband has it.
Yes,
doesn't he?
Yeah.
So that means it's a win.
It's a win.
He takes it with him on travel.
So yeah, it's good. It's good. So
it's good. It's beautiful.
We are doing that knit along in March. And we have a prize for it.
We do. It's so exciting because Barbara from Knitting I Love, who
has a podcast,
and it's pretty fantastic. She's a lot of fun to watch.
She sent us a prize. Isn't it cool?
Prize.
Okay, so I'm gonna go into this with mine because she sent us each one as well. This is a tote bag, and it even says tote bag on it. Super cute. Mine's in my purse because I take it everywhere with me now.
And mine is too. We actually used our tote bags to send some stuff off from the last podcast.
She sells these as packages, and she also has an explanation of what each thing is on her YouTube channel as well. So this will be a prize. Okay, so this is super cool. This is a coaster, and
it is awesome.
It also has gauges on it for your needles. So each of these holes, I feel like they're laser cut, and they are the different sizes. So I'll bring it forward. So it's got 2.5, 5, 3, 2.75, 4. So for your knitting needles, which is super cool. And it's a coaster, so you can have it with you all the time. Drink your drink and then measure your knitting needle. Very cool.
Just kind of fantastic.
This is for circular knitting needles. So you can put your circular knitting needles in here, and this will clip it. So I'll show you. So here's my circular knitting needles. They go inside this little hole to keep them together, and then this clips across so that your work is kept nice and safe and handy dandy. So perfect. They're wonderful, and I'm just gonna leave that like that because I'm gonna use it. And this one, there are a couple tags in here that you can sew into something. They say handmade on them. They're super cute, and there's holes punched around so you can just sew it onto a little hat or something. And then these here are DPN folders, and They have the little flowers on them and the little knitting. I love knitting package. So it's a DPN holder, so you can put your DPNs outside of the package in these, and it just slides over.
I love this feature right here.
Yeah, and this would be perfect for socks because your sock would dangle here, right? And it's a really unique construction. I haven't seen any like this.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I like that she's thinking outside of the box. Like, that's super impressive. I like it.
Me too.
So, and thank you very much for sending those to us. That was
thank you so much, Barbara.
Love it. And she's adorable. She has a YouTube channel, and she's got some like ones where she just talks about what she's doing, and she just recently started a podcast. So I think she has 2 or 3
No,
episodes.
I think she's got 5.
Does she have 5?
Yeah, because I watched episode 5 when I was in Reno.
Oh, okay. Because I've been watching them. I just didn't realize it's been that long. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was watching it while sitting in my hotel room instead of being out in the world.
And I received a package yesterday from a very wonderful, wonderful viewer, and she is awesome. And like to the point where I almost cried. I don't know why I'm so emotional these days. I can't explain it, but I almost cried. And so I opened the package and I had to walk away for a minute. Seriously, I was like, what is going on with me?
Yeah, she
so
messaged
beautiful.
me a picture. She's like, Scilla, look!
I know, and I'm like tearing up right now. Like, what?
I'm like, Marsha, I'm at work. And she's like, no, but look!
No, I know.
It's kind of wonderful.
Yes, it's very thoughtful. So Amber, who is also the yarn hoarder on Instagram, sent me this beautiful package. She contacted me on Instagram and said, hey, do you want some scraps for your scrappy sock blanket? And I said, sure. Had no idea what was going to be coming. It's just amazing. Like, she sent me these. These are, you put them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they're labels that you put on, so you knit socks and you wrap them around. And you give them to people.
Oh my, those are
like
those are wonderful.
They're so cool. I love them. And she sent me also this little tags. I spent forever making this for you. Which I can tell people I spent forever making something for them. I don't think they'll believe it, but. And then there's this little, more like, or if it has a knit this and, then I can attach it, because then I'm like,
you spent forever.
Exactly. See you next year. And she sent these. There's rings, and there's some hand salve and some wool wash, little package, and some beautiful, beautiful minis. Like I was not expecting this.
Wow.
And there's like a little mini opal in there, and there's so many here. It's just.
And she took the time to label each one.
And they're all labeled, and I sent her a package of minis, and I didn't label any of them. Sorry, Amber. Like, totally, and that's probably why I was gonna cry. Like, I'm like.
Label.
I'm so sorry. I didn't label them. And that bag and this one, like, they're amazing. And they're all labeled on that side, yeah. And then this is her first hand spun. And it's 100% Cordale.
She hand spun that?
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
And that's her first hand spun? You need to keep that, like.
Well, it's going in my blanket. But I feel like it should be in the center of my blanket, like in
a
the
focal
heart
piece, yeah,
of my blanket,
because that's love.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And also, she sent me this, and this just anyway. It is Pandia's Jewels yarn, Snugtacular in I Must Stash yarn. And it's so pretty. Like, look at all those colors.
It's so pretty.
I know. And it is, let me see. 400 yards and 93 grams. Machine wash, cold water, tumble dry. Oh, there we go. 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon.
Can I touch it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice yarn.
Yeah. It's
See, that's
so
how I
pretty.
judge if yarn is nice. I touch it.
Yeah, but look at those colors. Those are
They're so pretty.
so pretty. Yeah, so thank you so much, Amber. It blew me away, and I'm not normally an emotional person, so I just
Except for this week.
yeah,
Yeah.
except for this week, I guess. But also, this was very touching. And
No,
it was,
yeah, this is...
it came at just the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much thought that went into it.
Yeah, and like last week, I had a super rough week. I had food poisoning, so I ate bad cheese, and so that was not fun. I was gonna say that was super fun, but then like that's being sarcastic, so I should say that wasn't fun because it actually wasn't fun. So yeah, actually wasn't fun, and I was sick to my stomach, and then like it was all
terrible.
the things you get with bad food poisoning. I had that,
Yeah.
and then my husband went away on a trip, and then I stopped working where I was working, and now I'm coming up with all these plans and stuff. But yeah, it was just the last 2 weeks have been jam packed full of a lot of stuff. So yeah. Okay, Scilla. It was your birthday.
It was my birthday.
And we didn't mention it last week because we have a problem thinking into the future.
We can't think
Like,
into the
what's
future.
in 2 weeks?
Is there something in 2 weeks?
No
Probably.
more food poisoning. We're gonna stay healthy and happy.
And I'm gonna have this section of certain section of my thesis done.
Yeah. That's
That
not
was
what I
supposed
thought you were gonna say.
No, that was supposed to be done 2 weeks ago.
Oh, good.
See, I can think into the past. That's why I can move it into the future. I'm
Exactly.
about 2 weeks behind from where I should be on my thesis right now. All right. So I also let one of my jobs go. So there's been a change for me at work as well. So I can work on my thesis and spend more time dedicated to that. So it was my birthday. And I had a wonderful, wonderful time. And it's felt like the whole week has been leading up to today. So it was my birthday, and I want to say thank you very, very much to everybody who wished me a happy birthday on Instagram and Ravelry. It was overwhelming in an amazingly awesome way. Like, I felt so special, so loved, and I was not expecting it. So I want to say thanks to everyone. I tried to reply to everyone individually, but if I did happen to miss you, I'm sorry. And I do really, really appreciate the birthday wishes. They warmed my heart on the inside and the out.
It wasn't intentional.
It was not intentional. And yesterday I could not stop smiling. Like, the day was amazing.
I gave Scilla a birthday cake. And it was a Superman birthday cake with a big S for Scilla.
It was awesome.
We'll show you a picture.
We will. We'll put it in. And I do have some new acquisitions to my stash, which I'm going to save till our next podcast to show you because we're still trying to keep in the 45-minute mark. So that'll be exciting. And I am going to show you, though, a couple of things that I got. So my aunt came and visited, and she made me this box. So she painted it, and it's full of self-care items. Not going to go into a lot of detail, but you can see it's full of a whole bunch of self-care awesomeness.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
And tea and
Yeah, chocolate, tea, happy book. I also had a friend who got me this mug. It has a bunny on it, and it has a gold handle. And not gold plated, it is a gold handle. It says so on the bottom. And I can't microwave it.
No, it's real gold.
Real
plated.
gold. Yeah, real gold plated. It doesn't say plated though. But it says porcelain with real gold. So I'm embracing the real gold. But it's got a bunny on it, so it's kind of awesome. And right now I'm using it as a yarn bowl. So I participated in a Podcasters Trade Valentine's Day. Switcheroo. And it was kind of a wonderful experience, and I wasn't really expecting it to turn out the way it did. So I got matched up with Katarina.
She has a podcast.
She has a podcast, and it's knitting with Katka. Sorry.
Yeah.
Knitting with Katka. And she's absolutely adorable. If you have some time to check her out, she's adorable. It's totally worth watching, and it's amazing. So she made me this little package, and it arrived right on my birthday, which was wonderful and awesome. So she sent me some tea. There's an apple one. There is a honey one. And And there is a berry one. And I'm really excited to try those teas. And like the thought that went into this package like blew me away. I was totally overwhelmed by it.
So you did exchange with her though, right?
Yes, yeah, I did exchange with her.
So when Scilla was getting her package ready, I said, you know, you should send a pattern for something small like a cup cozy or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know who her partner was, and I pulled up this pattern on Ravelry, and I was like, you should totally just send her this pattern and enough yarn to do this pattern.
That was the pattern.
This is the pattern that she sent. She's also the designer of. This is the pattern I suggested Scilla send to her.
It was really funny. And so this is a cup cozy that she knit for me, which is absolutely wonderful. And she sent me the yarn so I can knit it too. And I feel like this might be one of those Pinterest things where you see something beautiful and then you see something that's not beautiful with a nailed it.
When you're done knitting.
When I'm done, yeah. You're like, nailed it. It looks nothing like it. It's a star.
You can do it.
I can do it. I'm really excited to do it. And I'm super stoked to do this. It might actually keep my bunny mug warm for a little while. And she also sent me this card, and I love this card, and this card, like, it warmed my heart. Like, her thoughts were so positive, and it was so heartwarming. But not only that, is she made it. And it's totally made with love. Like,
here, hold it like that. Yeah.
Perfect. So it has cloth flowers, it has a heart, it has yarn, I think it's made with cotton, grass. The lamb has fur that's wool, and the sky is blue yarn, and it's made with love. Like this card, and I'm not a card person. Ask anyone, cards aren't my thing. I love this card. This card is going up just like this on my mantle.
Yeah. Because
this is a card worth celebrating and worth showing the world. Earring. I love its earring too. It's so cute.
That's
it's
so
adorable.
Cute.
And so
that's an awesome little package.
It is an awesome package.
I didn't.
Oh, and also I got some buttons and some stitch markers in it as well. So it was a very, very thoughtful package. And when I opened it, I was like, it's magical.
I think that's
think
all of the all. So when the pattern comes due, it's March 1st.
March 1st. Yeah.
Do we have a podcast before then?
I don't think we do. I think that's why. No, because it's the 19th.
It'll be the 4th when we record for our next one. So the pattern will be out before our next podcast. And yeah, so it'll be available on the 1st. So keep your eyes peeled for it. It's called the Narita Express, and it's free. So take advantage of that and knit it with us because it's a pretty simple knit.
Yeah.
And I think I really enjoy it.
She really enjoys it. I watch her knit it and she smiles while she's doing it.
I smile while I do it. Yeah. It's good. I enjoy that. Well, I enjoy knitting. I'm
really?
Not gonna
you
lie.
enjoy
I'm not
knitting?
Gonna lie.
Something you enjoy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I don't see that about you. There's that sarcasm again.
Yeah, totally. So, thank you for joining us, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Until next time.
Until next time.